Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can start, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. A very warm good evening to each and everyone here. There are many participants who are on Zoom platform, and there will be some watching live streaming on YouTube or Facebook platforms. Sir, it is exactly 5 in the evening, so we are starting the program. May I request each and everyone, except the organizers, to mute themselves if they have any background noise. It will be facilitating us in continuing the session. Dear friends, at the very outset, let me take this opportunity to wish you all a very happy, prosperous New Year 2021. I pray that this year brings good health, prosperity, and instill enough energy to overcome all the diseases inflicted upon the human society due to China virus in the previous year. It is pleasurable for me and for all of us to be a part of the first program of iSPELL of the year 2021. This is the first one of this year. The theme of today's session is the relevance of ESP in national education policy. Dr. Sabnis will be deliberating on this topic. In fact, the theme looks like an academic celebration accentuating the new education policy, policy at the start of the new year. Wish you a very 2021. Let me introduce the chief. Let me talk very briefly about the chief speaker of today's session, Dr. Vaibhav, who has joined us a couple of moments ago. I welcome Dr. Vaibhav to the session. With regards, I also welcome our patron, the founder of iSPELL, Dr. G.A. Ghansham, whose presence is always inspiring, motivating, and cherishing. I extend my warm welcome to the president of iSPELL, Professor Dr. Jyoti Patil, whose efforts have materialized this program. This webinar's success partially goes to all the people. I welcome the chairman, Dr. Shamenaz and the master of ceremonies, Dr. Shahnaaz. I can see about 30 plus participants on this platform, and there are many watching live streaming on YouTube and Facebook page also. I welcome all the participants watching from other platforms. Let me share something about iSPELL. iSPELL stands for Indian Society for Promotion of English Language and Literature. It was formed just about 3 months ago by our patron, Dr. G.A. Ghansham. Within a short span of this time, it has gained a commending prestige across the nation. It's a forum of scholars who are dedicated to elevate. And that is why the very motto of iSPELL is facilitate to elevate. Because we cannot elevate if we do not facilitate, whether facilitate ourselves, or whether facilitate others also. This is the very motto of this forum. Let us not call forum. iSPELL has now grown into a family where the interaction is the biggest characteristic. Today's master of ceremony is Dr. Shamenaz Khan. She will be conducting the session, and she will be connecting the strings of the seminar. Dr. Shahnaaz Khan. Dr. Shahnaaz Khan has rendered her commitment as a professor and head of the Department of English at Government Science College, Pandhurna in Maharashtra. She has 27 years of experience, and during this span of time, she had also been professor in charges of NAC and IQAC. She has published many research papers in national and international journals. American literature is her forte, her specialization. She has researched on Ernest Hemingway. With these, and she is a member of Progressive Literary Society and a society called CLIC, which is dedicated to Shakespearean studies. That is Shakespeare Society of Central India. With all good wishes, I hand over the microphone and this platform to Dr. Shahnaaz Khan for further proceedings. Over to you, Dr. Shahnaaz Khan.
Uh, a very good evening to all the esteemed members of this program. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for giving me this opportunity. And I I welcome all of you to this to this platform of of iSPELL, and um, uh, I take the opportunity to welcome the President, Dr. Jyoti Patil ma'am, Dr. Ghanshyam, the coordinator, Dr. Kshamata Chowdhury, the state head regional central region, Dr. Nilanjana Pathak ma'am. If you are there, I haven't seen you here, but I am expecting you on YouTube as you promised. Then the chief speaker, Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis, the chairperson, Dr. Shamenaz Bano, the moderator, Dr. Chandrashekhar Sharma, all the research scholars and esteemed members of the fraternity called iSPELL. I really feel honored to be the master of ceremonies in today's e-seminar entitled The Relevance of ESP in the National Education Policy. It is yet another great stride by the Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language and Literature. Coming to the title of the seminar, before understanding the relevance of ESP in the national education policy, it is pertinent to know what we actually mean by ESP. English is a lingua franca of the world and a pan Indian language. When we hear that the new education policy 2020, while laying emphasis on promotion of Indian languages, does not make any language compulsory, it is interesting to see how English for specific purposes can be integrated into the NEP 2020 and how can it communicate real life situations related to a particular discipline. Let's look at it from right to left. We see that P stands for purpose in ESP. What is the purpose? Why are the learners in the class? What is the target situation? What are their needs? S stands for specificity. What specific English is to be learned? Specificity is related to a specific discipline. ESP can be classified into EAP and EOP. EOP is English for academic purpose, and EAP is English for academic purpose, and EOP is English for professional purpose. The requirement of a medical student, a student of law or engineering is EAP, while the requirement of professionals, practitioners like doctors, lawyers, or engineers, etc., is EAP. To do justice to the topic of this seminar, we have with us Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis as the chief speaker. Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis has been serving in the Department of English at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Memorial College of Law, Dhule, since 1999. He has successfully worked as the coordinator of NAC and IQAC. His specialization is in ELT, Indian Writing in English, and legal language. He is the founder, president of ELT at Khandesh chapter. President of LTI Khandesh chapter, and a research guide, KBC North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. He has over 58 research papers published in national and international journals to his credit. He has participated in more than 60 national and international seminars, conferences, and chaired many sessions. He's completed the UGC-funded MRP on legal language. And the list can go on. He is a PhD guide. He has delivered the keynote speech, lectures, and many speeches as resource person, chief guest. He has been the chief guest judge examiner at various national seminars, state programs, and colleges. He's delivered many lectures in various workshops, schools, colleges, NSS camps, legal literacy camps, and so on. He has had the honor of being external referee for PhD Vaibhav. He has published many books as an editor. To mention, one is Indian Literature in English, Some Reflections. The collection of poems is entitled O Love, O Life. He has given his background voice to many local TV advertisements. So, your specialization is in ELT, legal language, and with a UGC funded MRP on legal language, it will be a great privilege to hear you on the relevance of ESP in the national education policy. Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis, sir, I invite you to throw light on this topic of today's seminar. Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis, sir.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Shahnaaz Khan, madam. It was a pleasure talking to you yesterday, and it's a greater pleasure to hear you here. Honorable Ghansham sir, who is my inspiration, and he was the man behind the foundation of LT Khandesh chapter nearly 4 years ago. Just after 5 days, it will be the 4th anniversary. And Dr. Ghansham sir, in all these 4 years, has visited Dhule 3 times. And I'm really honored to be the part of this platform, and I'm feeling honored that I have been invited as a resource person here when people with lots of resources are there. Honorable Shamnaz madam, Shahnaaz madam, Honorable Chandra sir, the chairperson, the master of ceremonies, master of program, and all dear participants. Looking at the profile of the people around, and when the person like Ghansham sir, who has great presence of mind, who is a wonderful person, poet, critic, singer, and whatnot, a versatile personality. I felt a little bit nervous initially, but now I feel I'm the part of this family, and I'm sharing everything as the member of this family, not as an expert or not as a person who knows something more than you. I'm just sharing whatever I know. And I find great interest in ESP, especially the language of advertisement, the legalese, the journalese, etc. And this is a platform where I would be very, very happy sharing whatever I have, whatever stuff, whatever substance I have. If there are any queries, questions, if you find me off the track going wrong way, wrong direction, then please stop me. Otherwise, I'll continue till say 5:50. I think I'm privileged to speak that much. So thank you very much for a very generous introduction. It has actually given me more challenging situation to give justice to my selection as a resource person. So it was a wonderful beginning by Chandra sir, and this is what English for specific purposes is. So it won't be a surprise that tomorrow somebody will write English for Zoom, right? Or English for WhatsApp must be there around. So English for Zoom or etiquettes in Zoom. And these etiquettes are very necessary. Now also somebody is disturbing. I was not working as a resource person, but as a co-host, as I have been made. And see, this is how I keep people muting, and I stopped Chandra sir's video also. This is how I feel I'm the part of this family. So dear friends, when we talk about English for specific purposes, especially when NEP, New Education Policy 2020, has been introduced actually, may not be implemented across India, then definitely there will be great scope to ESP. There is fear, and when we spoke, Dr. Shahnaaz and myself, that there is fear amongst people also that English will lose its value, its importance, its heydays. But I am of the opinion that English will be more important than before. So this is how we are going to discuss. And before we talk about ESP, let me talk about how the NEP is. I hope my screen is visible to you. Trying to just enlarge the screen. The relevance of ESP. ESP has been important, and if you look at the Western education, the prime focus is on English for specific purposes. what we see in India in particular is that the curriculum or the syllabus is not designed as per the requirements or needs of students. Now, when we are talking about students, definitely I'm talking about the senior college students or the undergraduate or the degree college students who are the pillars of our nation, and because of whom lots of energy, lots of resources have been introduced. So when we look at these students, they are somewhere jack of all trades and master of none. This situation is there. They are doing this, they are doing that, they are doing that also. And the basic problem everybody faces is employment. When we talk about employment, why don't we talk about self-employment, that is business? And here somewhere what we see missing is the communication skills and the things that are necessary to be self-employed, to convince people, to communicate effectively, have lots of soft skills, leadership qualities and team building and this and that. So amongst all these youths, what we see is that employability is missing. I read in newspapers a few months ago that many engineering graduates are not employable. So when we look at this scenario, and when new education policy has been introduced after a very long gap, because I'm just, yeah. So after nearly, say, 24, more than that years, 34 years, this new education policy has been introduced by the current central government. And in this particular sphere and background, what we see is more youths need to be employable. So what we need today is jack of all trades and master of few. It cannot be master of one or none. So we need to be comfortable with so many things, and that's why the new education policy needs to be taken into consideration. So what new education policy is, let's have a glance at this. It outlines the vision of India's new education system, which is having a comprehensive framework for elementary education to higher education. So many things are there. A great transformation is taking place. We see that there is India and Bharat. There is a great divide even today. Even today, when we see the tribal areas or the rural areas, we again see the great division because there is 4G, 5G on one hand, and there are no mobile towers. There is no network connectivity on the other hand. Amidst this, we are having this corona and then the online education. And then we have so many pious phrases. We are talking about these castles here and there, the ivory towers here and there. And then there are people who are striving to meet the both ends meet. They don't have food for their livelihood. So this is the situation where we are introducing this new education policy, and where we are expecting that in a span of nearly 20 years, there will be great transformation. We should not forget that nearly 20 years ago, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam saw a vision for 2020. The 2020 is over. We have seen how it ended with lots of depression, frustration, joblessness, etc. And now we have a vision of 2040, that is 20 more years are there. We are going to see how it gets shaped. And definitely English is going to play a very crucial role. But before we talk about English, before we talk about ELT, the literature of English and the English for specific purposes, and the P, as Dr. Shahnaaz was talking about, the P stands for people also, English for specific people, right? And purposes, definitely. That is how it has been widely accepted, perceived, etc. So when we look at this scenario, what we see is these policies that have taken place already have been very, very successful. There had been many commissions and committees, and then of course we have seen that there have been experts, critics. Whatever is introduced is criticized. But now again we are talking about few things. Already our constitution has talked about access, equity, equality, liberty, and so many things. The fraternity, most importantly, brotherhood, the gospel of brotherhood, and then Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Because the world has come so close on one hand, again, what we see is we are divided by our caste, our region, our language, our religion, and so many things. And amidst this, when we are battling with so many problems, the pillars of NEP, I'll have a very, very cursory glance, a quick look at the pillars of NEP and NEP, of course. access, everybody needs to have access. Equity has to be there, no partiality, no bias has to be there. Quality has to be maintained, because if you look at the list of the top universities in the world, across the world, we find very few universities or even none. We are placed at 100 or even 200. So somewhere quality education needs to be there. And another thing, means I have been working in a law college where the fees is very less, nearly 2,000-3,000 per year. And yet a student comes and requests for the concession in the fees or installments of the fees. So affordability is an important thing in today's education, when everything has been very, very difficult to be maintained by people. And then accountability. Everybody talks about rights, but nobody talks about duties. So my country, this is my education policy, this is my school, these are my duties, responsibilities. So accountability, everybody is accountable and answerable. So that is to be instilled among, right? If you look at this old and new NEP, it is very clear that so many things have been changed. Transformation is there. And of course, there will be opposition. There will be shortcomings, obviously. And that opposition is also, for the sake of opposition, is obvious. The new curriculum with the framework of NEP talks about arts, crafts, humanities. That is, versatile persons, students are to be created or are to be generated, or you may say that they are to be groomed in that way. So the student is expected to have knowledge of so many things. And now we see that bookworms are there and they are far away from physical development, the emotional development even. And that's why we find that there is going to be the integration, fusion, blending of so many things like sports, games, literature, language, fitness, culture, and most importantly, values. Value education has been there. Women's education, gender equality, and all these pious phrases have been there. And we see that these barriers or these walls, again, of gender bias, inequality, they are growing, they are becoming more solid and stronger. So here, the new curriculum aims at that. And we'll talk how our curriculum can address these problems. And again, develop all kinds of aspects, all kinds of capabilities, the critical thinking, the creative thinking, and so many things are aimed at here. And education has to be well-rounded. It will be repetition if I say that our aim is always to the making of doctors and engineers and this and that. And I remember of that tree, wherein that example of tree is given, wherein all the animals are supposed to climb the tree. That is how our target has been. But is our education useful? Does it fulfill our needs? Is there a rapport between education or syllabus needs of life? These are very big questions. And we expect that our new school education and college education try to answer these questions. So I won't talk much about school education, but we cannot go directly to the higher education. And that's why all these changes have been taking place in the school education also. Maybe implementation may take place later, or in some universities and schools, colleges, or boards like CBSE, it may take the place earlier. So bilingual education, maybe trilingual education, three-language formula has been there. All these things will take place. So what is important now about the undergraduate education? And here ESP is going to play a very important role, that there will be multiple entry and exit points. For example, I may take admission as a student of humanities, and I may go out as a student of science. That is how multiple entries are going to be there. It depends upon our interests. Already we are talking about multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approaches. You have seen many and when we talk about ourselves, or when we see our whole life, it cannot be, having one discipline. It is multifaceted. It is having multi-traits, and we need to be multi-skilled, multitasking. As our mobile phones are smart, and we expect them to be multitasking. There have been some advertisements like this. What about us? What about our education? Will it make us multitasking? And that's why this multidisciplinary, where interests are important, where needs are important, where scope is important, going to take place in this 4-year. Earlier, it was 3-year, as you know, as far as humanities are concerned. We are not talking about the medical and engineering faculties because they were already having the 4-year degree programs. So here, there is no science faculties. Again, we are going to see where ESP will be. So whatever stream you choose, whatever discipline you choose, English is going to play an important role. We are going to talk about that. And so many foreign universities are going to be there, set up in India. Maybe top 20 universities will be there in India. And our universities, maybe Takshashila, Nalanda, and maybe Jalgaon University. And already, I also guided one foreign scholar very successfully for his PhD. So this is going to be multi-regional, multilingual, multinational kind of education. And so communication in English, that is going to be important. Skill-based learning is going to be important. Vocational training. Always we give the examples of the country like say New Zealand or Australia. And most importantly, we give the example of Israel, a small country surrounded by Arab countries, but very, very powerful. It does not hesitate to attack the enemies. That's because of the people there. They are skilled, they have military skills, most importantly, and they are patriotic. These feelings are necessarily to be generated, and most importantly, that is before or after employability skills. And for employability skills, we need communication skills, soft skills, and all other things. Now we need to dream for something global. So we need our feet to be grounded very firmly and strongly on our soil, our local. And with that, what we need is the global approach. And this is what Swami Vivekananda dreamt long back. This is how Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru felt long back. Dr. Shahnaaz, madam, any problem? You are pointing out something.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay, sir.
From my side, hope.
At home. Sorry to disturb you.
All right. No problem. I was going to talk about this setting up of foreign universities. Now, I'll very quickly have a glance at this and we'll go to ESP straight away. Many opportunities will be there for students and teachers. And definitely English is going to play a more important role as lingua franca, the language of communication. Already it has been playing that important role in India. Yeah, as far as the southern states are concerned, we know that there is great opposition to Hindi. People don't know Hindi there. And English is going to be that link language. And it will be more, it will be playing a more substantial role. When the foreign universities will be there, our teachers need to update themselves, upgrade themselves. And of course, English is going to play a very significant role. There will be Russian, there will be Japanese, there will be translations from English or Japanese or Russian, Chinese to the Indian languages like Sanskrit, Marathi, Hindi, whatever, and vice versa. So English is going to play a more important role in future when global applicability and significance is there of our educational system. So this NAP is going to address all these things. When we talk about literature, in ESP, I'm going to talk about literature a bit. I'm going to cite Kabir's Dohas and Maharashtrian saint poet Santa Tukaram's lines, Abhang, after some time. So Indian literature has great substance. We know the importance of Sanskrit. We are aware of Kalidasa and many others. But the foreign scholars are deprived because quality translations are not there. So translation is going to be an area in this NEP, and because of ESP, it is going to get momentum. And when we look at this scenario and Corona, it is not going, new strain is coming, and so many problems are there. Amidst this, what we see is technology is going to be more important. Those who do not have the knowledge of technology are going to be illiterate of this century. So these are the universities that we may aim at. These are the top 20 universities, global universities, and they may get introduced in India very soon. And for that, we need that new kind of approach. Okay. What we need are the things like critical thinking, like creative thinking. It is already there, but it is not much focused. It is not foregrounded in our education. It is not much highlighted there, or lots of stress is necessary to be put on that. We need something innovative, something creative. For example, when we look at literature, it is just for entertainment to some people. But when we talk about delightful instruction, I think that is necessary in this new approach. And when we talk about technology today, maybe again, it is a debatable thing whether this virus came from China, from a Chinese lab, or something natural, something climatic, we don't know. But such viruses are bound to be there. They are going to be there. The warfare is changing its structure and nature. And so I think there will be more of technology. Now we are so comfortable at our home, spending very little time and money, and we are having such platforms like iSPELL. We are having such webinars every week. So technology is going to play a very important role, and you cannot ignore it, its importance. There are many are adverse, but digital libraries, e-education, e-learning, e-platforms, video conferencing modes, webinars, e-conferences, e-seminars are the buzzwords already because of Corona, and they are more affordable, more convenient, comfortable in future also. Because Dr. Ghanshyam sir will travel nearly 24 hours to deliver a talk of 1 hour. That was a big injustice. But now, spending just an hour from your home, from your office, you can address the gathering across the globe. That's how digitalization, or what we see, the special educational zones through technology are going to be there, where we are going to identify the speakers. So there will be some webinars for the students, for the doctors, for the nurses, or those whose English is not good, or those who are quite advanced in their knowledge, those who have the expertise in technology, those who do not have. So that is going to be very, very important in future. And so we know the special economic zones, but now we are going to have special education zones in NEP 2020. MPhil is going to be abolished in this particular NEP. PG is going to be more research oriented, right? It is going to be only 1 year, and it will be full of research. It will be full of novelty, creativity, and innovation, originality. That is more necessary because lots of plagiarism has been around. So possibly, as we see in foreign universities, there will be a project. In India also, there is project for the PG students. That is going to be there, and it is going to be more research oriented. We see that even teachers, I would like to cite that example. We are working on an edited book, and nearly 30% papers have been found with more than 40% plagiarism. So that's very alarming in India, plagiarism, copy and paste of somebody else. So that practice needs to be stopped with more research oriented post-graduation. And definitely for this, in-depth knowledge is necessary. As I said, that many engineers are not employable. Many MA English people are not good speakers of English. They cannot teach well. Those who have those who have got their degrees of D.Ed and B.Ed cannot teach because degrees are sold, as you know, or that conveniently things have been done. Lots of malpractices have been there, and that needs to be stopped. Hence, research orientation is there, and we need to be specialized. For example, we are, again, I'm repeating, jack of many trades. So we talk about ELT, we talk about ESP, we talk about legal language, we talk about this and that, Indian writing in English again. But we see in medical field there are specialization, or there are specialized doctors. In the same way, we are expecting them in research field also, in educational field also. So we need to develop, we need to address critical sensibility, creativity, etc. And again, so many things are there in soft skills like problem solving, etc. All these things will be definitely addressed after the introduction of the new education policy. So I need not talk much about PhD and all. There are many scholars who have got PhD, and there are many whose work is not uh, standard at all. So again, that opposition, that binary opposition will always be there. That contrasting picture always be there. All right. So in the new education policy, these are the thrust areas. We have already talked about them. So I may not talk much about that, but training is necessary. Employability skills are very, very necessary. We see that many people are not communicative. That communicative competence is necessary. And I said earlier, translation is going to be more substantial than before. It is going to give lots of job, lots of money also in future. Hopefully, that is what I believe. Of course, we may be replaced by robots in future. Artificial intelligence has been introduced already, and amidst this will be the necessity of a person who drives, who operates computer, who speaks in English, who addresses gathering, who is a very good manager, event manager, etc. So we don't need a person who is just a driver. We don't need a person who is just a teacher, but somebody multitasking, etc. And in this NEP, of course, what we need is a person who is all-rounder, like Professor Dr. Ghanshyam, the best example. He travels the whole night and does not get tired. He's full of energy, full of resources, and he is the real all-around personality, the versatile genius. So NEP aims at that. Right. Now, let us come down straightway, exactly, specifically for this English for specific purposes. And before that, we need to see how English is going to play different roles. Right. We have already addressed some of these concerns, and I'll be happier to talk more about legal language and journalism. Right. So interdisciplinary approaches, they are going to be, of course, more important in this sphere. And there are concerns, and we are going to talk about concerns. People are still having that phobia and fear of English. That is bound to be there. That is obviously there. But what we see is the rural areas and the tribal areas are also seeing the transformation. Now we see our students from tribal area also communicating very, very fluently, confidently in English. So more opportunities will be there, and with opportunities do come the hardships and challenges. What we see is this. NAP is going to facilitate, NAP is going to give scope to the legalese, to the journalists, the English for engineering, and it won't be a wonder that there will be experts and again, jacks of many trades, like they'll be talking about the legalese, the journalists, English for nurses, English for hotel managers, English for shapes and English for waiters, English for teachers, and all that is very common, right? So that is bound to be there, and ELT is going to change its shape, as I talked about, special educational zones, just like that. There will be English for differently abled. Now, differently able does not mean necessarily the handicapped, but again, there are people, I mean, categories and classes of people, it will be according to them. And there will be the digital natives and the migrants, the old generation, the new generation, and all this divide is going to be there, which we have already talked a bit while ago. And hence, what we see is in the ESP, we need communicative competence. So in this, we see that, as I said, Zoom writing, writing for the Zoom etiquettes. Web writing has been there, but hopefully it will get momentum after introduction of NEP. And writing emails effectively is there. Writing for social media, what do we see today? That WhatsApp communication, Twitter etti, and sometimes Honorable Shashi Tharoor sir threatens us with his English, very difficult to understand easily. Blogs and this and that, everybody is going to have blogs. They do write something. How they write, that is different thing. And if we look at Facebook accounts also, we see that different kinds of comments, that literature, it is a sort of literature. And it won't be a wonder that tomorrow somebody will be writing a thesis, doing research on the English on social media, English in social media, English of Facebook. Already there have been lots of research on this, and it will be more. All right. So it won't be a wonder that we'll be focusing on social media plus technology, and you cannot separate English from technology and social media, because through social media platforms, we are aiming at something global, something international, right? So this is where we see that ESP is going to play a very crucial role. Now, in ESP, what we see is this, that it is used differently. Already we know ESP as a register. We have been talking about linguistics, stylistics, and we talk about how it is used in different situations. But here it is not just how it is used, but here we are going beyond that and how it has to be used, how we can groom the students, groom the faculty regarding the different purposes. For example, I, as a teacher teaching in a law college, need to know some legal terms, the legal maxims. When I am speaking somewhere else, as a, so say, for example, on ELT, then of course I need a different kind of English. That's why need-based English, that is important. When I'm addressing the CAs, when I'm addressing the rural folk, the English is going to be different. I'm saying the English, right? That English is going to be different. So there are many sectors we see that privatization has been there, and there are, everything is going to be very, very private in future. I mean, government agencies may not be working on that. And these private people, they may not give importance to your who you are or how poor you are, but they are going to see your caliber. And this caliber will be important when you have communicative competence, when you have in-depth knowledge of your subject, and you are able to deliver that specifically, addressing the specific needs of those people, right? So amidst this, what we see is there are different kinds of English, as Dr. Shahnaaz madam in the beginning itself at the outset talked about, that there is going to be English for academic purposes or professional purposes. So there will be many, many Englishes. So it will be English in science and technology, that is EST, English in commerce and management, ECM, and so many disciplines, branches, and subgenres of this ESP will be there. It won't be a wonder to see these kind of things, types and kinds. So we need to focus on specific needs. Now, why do we need to focus on specific needs? As I said some time ago, that every animal did not climb the tree. That is not success of education. If I am a good painter, I think I should make my career there, but our parents try to force us, insist that you become a good teacher, you become a good doctor only. And hence, understanding our potential, that instinct, that fire, that flame within, and then trying to groom that, then trying to address it and justify that with a special interest, with special teaching, coaching, and training, I think we can become master of that particular field along with jack of some other fields. And that's why specific needs needed to be addressed. And what is the main focus of ESP? That is, you design the courses, you develop, you groom the people according to their needs. So a lawyer's need is different from doctor's needs, right? So we have to address the things accordingly, the needs, the wants, the requirements, the purpose, the specificity, all these are different, and we need to address in that way. We can see this is a very beautiful tree where we can see ESP getting bloomed on different branches here, English for this, English for that, right? And now it is not a time that I'll be discussing about everything, but I'll come down to legal language. Then if we find time, definitely we'll be talking about generalese at least a cursory glance, and then we'll talk about the course content, etc., if time permits. I think we did not talk about the characteristics of ESP, right? Because needs are important there. Methodology, different methodology is going to be there. Drills and skills are to be developed and introduced. And we need to focus on different things. Now, coming down to a specific ESP area, that is legalese. It is called legal language also. Now, it's a big question why it is called a language, when it can be English, it can be Marathi, it can be Hindi, wherever there is a discourse or there is conversation or communication between these personalities, as we see the lectures that are there in the classes, or there is a communication between two judges on a particular case, or an argument in court, or there is the written material, judgments and says and PILs and etc. All this is legal language, irrespective of the language. So legal language is not necessarily English, but when we look at the world scenario, the global scenario, then it has been accepted to be the language of the world, right? English as the
Google Meet में dummy नहीं है. Zoom में teacher
the language of
भी दिख रहा है.
law is English in that context. Okay, I thought somebody is objecting or has some
ऐसा
issues.
भी कर सकते हो.
Okay,
ऐसा भी
so
दिखाई
what are
दे.
the distinctive features of legal language? We see that frequent use of some words is there. For example, shall is used a lot. Then there are some common words with uncommon meanings. Now I would like to cite the example. For example, act is there. I give this example of the word act in my class also. Now this act, when we are talking in a literature classroom, is an act of a drama, right? When it is there in society, your act is wrong. That is your work, your deed, whatever action you took, right? Whatever you did, misdeed, etc. And when it is an act in law, again, it has two meanings. One is the act, like evidence act. It is an act, right? So many acts are there. And then the judge says that your act amounts to capital punishment. So this act is your work, your action, whatever thing you have done. So this is how legal language is. There are many words like objection, like punishment, like sentence. So when I say sentence, a linguist will say a sentence is this and that, right? The types of sentence, etc. But when you talk about sentence in a legal framework, in a legal discourse, the sentence is maybe punishment, it may be capital punishment kind of thing, right? So he was sentenced to death. So that sentence does not remain an assertive or say imperative sentence, but that becomes a punishment, a fine kind of thing. So that is the specific feature of legal language. And then so many Old English words are there. While undertaking the project, I interacted with so many High Court judges also. I interacted with Honorable Shri Nikam also, right, Ujwal Nikam sir. And he said that let the beauty of legal language remain there. If you try to simplify that, because there is a plain language movement. If we try to do that, then that particular glow, that beauty of language will disappear. And that's why you will find so many archaic words there, so many old antique words are there, your honor or his majesty kind of so many things are there. And so many Latin words are there, so many French words are there, Greek words are there, so many maxims are there. We are going to talk about that. And there is specialized use of some legal vocabulary. Then we find that there are many formal words, right? So much of repetition, so much of circumlocution, so much of proximity. So many defects are also there. Some people call them defect also. Sometimes it is very precise, and sometimes it is too much lengthy. There is an author, Albert Vanderbilt. He has talked about a sentence in legal discourse. I think it is the Act of King Henry VIII, the Parliament Act. And one sentence, we are talking about precision and lengthiness, right, in legal language. And he has given an example where one sentence, I'm repeating, I'm trying to highlight, one sentence contains 492 words. Just imagine how long the sentence is and how many clauses and phrases will be there and how it is difficult to identify which clause is where, and it will be very challenging to translate also. So such things are there. Sometimes it is extremely precise and the other times it is extremely lengthy. So that is how legal language is. And there is flexible meaning. There is another feature. As you know that everything is clearly written in the law books, constitution, etc. And yet There are cases where because of, say, pound of flesh, as you remember in The Merchant of Venice, that not a single drop of blood is to be shed. So because of such things also, cases are won and cases are lost. So that is the beauty of legal language. When we talk about legal lexicon in particular, this is the beautiful feature: terms and conditions, rules and regulations. We always watch it on advertisements, in advertisements also. Conditions apply, or then why terms and conditions? And a lawyer will say, or a legal expert will say, that terms are different and conditions are different, right? So there are many doublets. They are called doublets because one follows the another one. Many times they are synonyms, they are synonymous. Sometimes there are triplets also: form, manner, and method. Now we all know that there is difference among these three words, and yet they are together so that nothing is left out. Because again, something missing is found, and then cases are lost and won, that we have discussed. So possession, custody, and control. So possession, I am having the possession of a particular thing. Custody may be custody of a child when there is a clash, conflict between husband and wife. And then control, right? Control of family, control of household kind of thing. So that is another feature. And when we design a course content for law, English for law, again, we are teaching change the voice, and we are giving simple examples, right? We are talking about figures of speech there and so many other things, or essays which are very general. So when we try to talk about lexicon, it should be legal lexicon when we are designing the course material there, course content there. In legal language, there are so many foreign words, as we know, all these are very commonly used now. Ad hoc, many appointments are ad hoc, or some committees, some panels are ad hoc. Now they have been assimilated in English, right? Allies is the word that we have been using very widely and extensively. Sub judice is another one. Alimony is another one. And per diem, per annum, all these are very, very common words for us now. They have been completely assimilated. We ask for bona fide certificate. If you look at the meaning of bona fide that is there on your screen, you'll be shocked. How can it be bona fide certificate, right? So very interesting, actually. Now, what I would like to focus is, I was talking about those quotidian words. Why legal English is so complicated? Because one word is enough, but sentences are given. So the words have been introduced differently in different contexts. So you can see that the general English is different and the legal English is different. So here the different meaning is there. So party for 31st people is different party. In legal term, it is different, right? So, and so many parties are there. Now forget about that. So this is how right is, again, right, left, and right wing and left wing, and then right, might is right kind of thing. And then right is your, of course, your privilege and all. So many words having different meanings in legal context, legal discourse that is there. The will is there, death will, as you know, Portia's father wrote that. And again, shall will, modal auxiliaries are there. Sometimes we are really shocked by the verbose expression. It is full of verbosity. Instead of saying, consider, I'll show this comparison. See, instead of saying consider, they say give consideration to. So nominalization and other facets are there of the legal language. And you can see the comparison, the exact expression and the verbose expression. Right. So again, here is a comparison how ordinary English is, the plain English, the layperson's English is, and the legalistic English is. So you can see this also. Many times when if is there, it is used provided, right? And sometimes in case is also used. Now, I think I don't have much time. It is 5 o'clock and 55 minutes, just 5 minutes to 6. Jyoti Patil madam, Shahnaaz madam, how much more time?
Please continue if whatever you have. We are next, still, yeah.
Okay, next 15 minutes.
Yes, it is up to you, sir. It is up to you.
Yeah. Even I'm eager, excited, and free to share. depends upon the participants' patience also.
We are enjoying, sir. Please continue.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So when we talk about legal language, we are going to talk about the course content, of course, how the syllabus has to be designed, ESP syllabus, focusing on legal language. Uh, what we see is the sentence structure is different. I give you the example of 92 words in a single sentence. And there are so many sentences like this. We see that there is lots of repetition, and this repetition is many times necessary also. And again, we see that legal lexicon is different, and we need to pay special attention to that. And then English is a borrowed language, and legal English is more borrowed. So we need to, as a teacher, as a curriculum setter, syllabi maker, etc., designer, we need to pay attention to all these things. Let me mute the person. Okay. I'm extremely apologize for this disturbance. Now, have a look at the journalists. I'm not going to talk much about journalists because I don't claim to be knowing more. But there are some things which are very interesting. Simplicity and brevity. Precision, objectivity. I think we all read newspapers and we are quite comfortable. We know all these facets and features of journalese, how lots of legalities there in journalese also. And so these journalists claim to be like some TV anchors. I should not name them. They claim to be great advocates, lawyers also. They do the cross-examination in the newsroom itself, studio itself. So now I'm taking you to some examples after showing these things on your screen, right? Let's have this example. Now, when we look at the legalese, then there are some features of legalese. The headline is there, then the body and this and that is there. But having very attractive, appealing title, headline is very, very important so that our attention is grabbed. Now, this is what appealed me the most. Territory of the Union. They have not said that Jammu and Kashmir have been recognized, identified, introduced as Union territory. Territory of the Union. So there is a lot to be talked about this. And this is a very old newspaper which is applicable to the current situation. I'm going to show you a few more things. See the comparison. In the first picture, it's a very old picture actually. And now in the new political grammar, now this is, the combination, the fusion of so many things. JK loses two articles. So articles belong to language also, the grammar also, A and the, as you know. And here we are talking about Article 35 that has been abolished in Jammu and Kashmir. So it is the new political grammar. It's a different grammar and different articles. I hats off to this journalist, to this writer who crafted it in so beautiful way. So that is the beauty of journalism. You need to be attracted to reading it, to purchase it. It is the headline as you see. And most importantly, it is the Economic Times. It is not a general newspaper, but it's a newspaper that focuses more on the financial economic aspects. So territory of the Union, and then you can see abolition of articles. I'm going to show you some more examples. Right? Worst ever recession set to stare at India. Something very different. Right. Just a second. Somebody is doing animation. Annotations. Okay, so I need to stop that. Okay, another example is this. Congress rattled as top leaders India joins the five that you can see here. Placing my cursor there.
Excuse me, Dr. Vaibhav. We are not able to hear you, Dr. Vaibhav.
Ma'am, there is some technical issue. He will be joining.
Okay.
I request everybody to...
Rakhi, please mute yourself. Rakhi Makija. Okay, she has
There
muted.
has been lots of disturbance. Please, everybody mute yourself.
May I request the co-hosts to mute them? If they are not muting themselves, kindly mute them.
Connected. So welcome. I'm really sorry for. So dear friends, we were talking about this journalies and special use of English is necessary there. I hope everything is all right.
Sir, please share your screen again, perhaps. Your screen is not visible.
Yeah. Yeah. Please make me the host. Please make me the host. I'm the host, not share. Please make me the host.
Dr. Rakesh, can you make Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis the host to share his PPT?
Dr. Rakesh, are you able to hear us?
Okay, I think the show must go on. When we talk about journalists, of course, the special focus is on the sentence structure, that the syntax, the semantics, how the meaning is going to be conveyed. Yeah, I am now the host and I'm sharing my screen. Sorry for the disturbance. I hope it is visible now. Yeah. Now, after journalists, and journalists is going to be there in social media as well. Keep trying to mute some people whose voice is echoing to me. English in social media. Now, what we see is during this corona, once upon a time we used to tell our children that don't use mobile. And now what we see is use mobile for education. So WhatsApp groups are there. And we see that everything is on, where it is on this topic to me is online teaching. It was a webinar that we conducted years ago. So what we see, life is full of social media. They're not separate from it. So as we discussed earlier, we don't that English for social addressed one during there in mid Doha. It was
Sir, there is a problem. Your voice is not audible clearly. Your voice is not audible, sir. There is a problem. Perhaps weak connection, weak net connection.
Is it audible now, madam?
Yeah. Now it is audible, sir.
Maybe. Okay, madam. Okay.
Sabnis, can you hear me? Yes, sir. Hello, Dr. Sabnis.
Yeah,
can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Please carry on.
I hope you are also, yeah, I'm also audible. Yeah. I'm really sorry for this disturbance caused by net.
Okay, we can see the screen now, sir.
Talk much about social media.
Yeah, the screen is visible now.
Now, am I audible? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Please carry on, sir.
Actually, Shahnaaz madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, you're audible, and we can see your presentation on screen also.
Thank you. So the focused areas, the areas on which we need to focus under the new NEP are web writing, technical writing, because these days are going to be technological days. The generation is going to be the technological generation, we can say, techno-savvy generation. You cannot separate technology from their lives. And hence, this needs to be focused more in the days to come when we talk about ESP. So language of advertisement, the technical writing, the web writing, the manual writing, how to prepare user guides and all, that is going to be more important. And of course, language for media, language of media and social media. And when we talk about language of advertisement, I'm going to show you the example straight away. I need not talk much about this. See, when we talk about this language of advertisement, it is going to be very, very precise. In few seconds, you need to attract people, you need to impress people, influence people. Then only your product can be sold. So we have seen some very popular advertisements, as we see there that it is a very fine fusion of words there. Have a Coke and a smile for Coca-Cola, or beyond petroleum. It is not just petroleum that you come and fill there, but it is beyond that. So these are some of the very beautiful things that we see in the advertisement. And world contest is there. So it is not just about beauty, it is beauty with a purpose. So these are the things that practice, and English plays a very important role there, communicating across the globe. The tires you raise are the tires you buy. That is what MRF Tires says. Or connecting people, connecting India. These are the slogans or catchwords, catchphrases of Nokia, of BSNL, and Union Bank says, good people to bank with. Achhe log, achhi bank. Like this. So English for advertisements is an ESP where we need to train the students or the learners in that particular realm with that creativity. It needs lots of creativity when it comes to that. And in advertisement, we see these are the commonly used words. These are the verbs, in fact, right? So hurry up and send your queries. And we see so many kinds of advertisements, right? Right from salt to car and all. And when we talk about course content, now ESP, NEP, these are on our side, and then we are going to design the course content. So what are the interests of people? So suppose there's a lesson on advertisement, there is another lesson on, say, legal language, yet another lesson on language of medicine, because many times we don't know what the doctor says, what the pathology lab report is, we don't know. So that is to be, on one hand, interest, but on the other hand, need. Sometimes the things that we get interest in may not be needed, and the things may not needed may not be interesting. So there is going to be a between all things when we design the course. Working practically expenses is very fair. So there has to be more importance given to the practicality, the action, the drills, and the practice that's to be incorporated. And learning should be with lots of fun. So advertisement, for example, it's going to be very funny, humorous, very joyful kind of affair. When we talk about legal language, of course, there can be some the drills and practices and moot court and you know, the mock court can be there, or the conversation between doctor and patient at student level will be there. And we know that the names of many diseases are foreign, like hemorrhage and diarrhea and etc., etc. We cannot spell it properly. Many English teachers even. So extracurricular, curricular activities, co-curricular activities play a very important role there. And besides this, we need all these things that have been discussing: reflective thinking, scientific approach. We are the students of science, yet we don't have that scientific approach, that rational approach, and correlative thinking. So English is going to be different. And when we talk about ESP and the role, the test of English, then translation we talked in the beginning. I'm going to show some translation works just after a while, just after some time. So translation from and into English, that is going to play a very important role. Already there have been translations. Premchand is no more a Hindi novelist. My PhD scholar from Mumbai has done her PhD on Premchand's novels. Somebody asked her, how can Premchand be studied for English PhD? And we said that Premchand's works are in English, and Premchand is no more just Hindi, but he belongs to many other languages. In the same way, we see that the works of William Shakespeare have been adopted. For example, Macbeth has become Makbul, Hamlet has become Haidar, and Othello has become Onkara in movie adaptations. So we can have film studies there, and we can have regional translations, and from regional language to English also. Assimilation and adaptations, as we see Malgudi days in Malgudi, I mean the serialized Malgudi days of R.K. Narayan, or the movie forms of Chetan Bhagat's novels. So many afterlives and after texts are there. Mahabharata and Ramayana and many other texts, the epics and treatises in different manifestations and forms. So there will be many afterlives and after texts. And as I pointed out once, delightful instruction is necessary. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide, how delightful instruction can be. And this is the approach that we need to adopt. And here is the example now, how the course content should be. Suppose it is the law course, the Merchant of Venice is the drama that needs to be there. So from the point of view of, teaching good English, at the same time introducing the world of William Shakespeare, the dramatic world, and again, a different kind of life, the legal aspects of the Merchant of Venice. For example, bond, the contents of the bond, 1 pound of flesh, not more nor less, as Portia debates, argues in the court scene, or the death will written by Portia's father, the contract, right? And then the argument that takes place in the last act, or last but one act, where Shylock is humiliated, Shylock is defeated, and Shylock loses everything. So the Merchant of Venice gives you joy, entertainment on one hand, but on the other hand, teaches wonderful lessons. Never be a borrower, nor a lender be. So many things. All that glitters is not gold. This is how art of living is taught to us through such texts. So ESP tries to focus on, number one, language, English for specific purposes, and number two, the great messages, the significant messages that these texts, these works contain. Now, one example is English. The second one is Indian example, where translation work is there. Silence, the court is in session, Vijay Tendulkar. Again, we see that illegitimate child or extramarital affair, Professor Damle and Mrs. Benare, all things, because we see that in the world of social media, these extramarital things, premarital things have been increased, as we see. In Maharashtra, these ninth standard students drank a lot at home if their parents were out. So many live examples are there. And to address these problems, we can address them, we can teach them these values, these gospels, through literary texts like Silence, the Court is in Session. Somewhere we talk about value education, or we talk about sex education, and such texts are very, very important at that juncture. The Old Man and the Sea. Everybody feels at some level, to some extent, defeated in life, or we feel low, we feel nervous. And then this novel comes, The Old Man and the Sea, that motivates us, that encourages us. Man can be destroyed, but cannot be defeated. That gives us spirit. So if we inculcate this kind of literature under ESP, where language, literature, and so many things will be there, where instruction will be there. Now, I'm quoting these works to our dramas. One is novel, because there is delightful instruction. There are some lessons that we can impart through them. Or Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. What beautiful concluding lines are. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, as we know. So this teaches everybody, you and me and our students and our family, that resting is rusting, as Ulysses says, Tennyson says in Ulysses. So we should not stop, we should not rest, but we should move on, because the woods are lovely, dark, and deep. but we have miles to go. iSPELL has miles to go. I personally have miles to go. Even when I retire, there are miles to go. As Telemachus in the poem Ulysses, written by Tennyson, talks about. Ulysses talks about that, right? Resolution is a poem where there are two old people. One is William Wordsworth, who is out watching the beauty, the birds and animals like hare and all. And then there is the leech gatherer. Even when you are old, when you feel you are helpless, you need to be independent. You need to be self-reliant. These are the lessons that these poems teach, right? And then there is saint literature. I am going to quote it, that this saint literature, which is wide and extensive in Marathi, needs to be translated and make it reach across the globe. And English will play that. So that is to be calculated in our syllabus. Paradise Lost is another example, right? And of course, religious literature. Remember, most of the problems today are because of religion. That we don't understand our religion, forget the understanding of the religion of others. So I think, I personally feel that we need to teach this religion through the religious textures, the treatises and all. We don't know our religion and we don't know others' religion. So what does a religion teach? What does Hinduism teach? What does Islam teach? What is Bible about? What are the parables? So all these things need to, and this is an example. Or there are many other texts from where we can learn all these things. And we see that that kind of intertextuality is there. Sat Shivam Sundaram is there, beauty is truth, truth is beauty. Or when we say, we talk about the west wind as preserver, destroyer, etc., we are reminded of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So this correlation will definitely help us understand the text and life. Understanding life is more important than understanding the mere text for marks. And so literatures of various countries, in order to understand the country, the nation, people, society, that is necessary. So today it is not just British literature, but Australian literature, Sri Lankan literature, this literature, that needs to be inculcated in our syllabus, right? So here is an example, Kabir ke dohe. Bura jo dekha na main chala, bura na mila kohe. Right, when I started seeing, the translation is there. Let me show you the translation. It's very beautiful. So it is there, misplaced somewhere. Right, when I went out to see if I would be able to see some bad people, evil people, and then nobody was there, but the most or the worst person was I myself. That is what Kabir says. Now, if we introduce this in syllabus, we can understand the sentence structure linguistically, stylistically, but at the same time, we can derive and inculcate, impart, imbibe great lessons of life through literature, through language. So it is not just mere understanding of literature. Now, this is a poem, an Abhanga verses composed by Saint Tukaram of Maharashtra. They have been translated by Dilip Chitwe in English. And here is one, that Abhanga, I was only dreaming, and it is full of religion, God, and all that, right? But that teaches great lessons of life. So that is to be inculcated. Now, we should not talk about this. We all know, we have teach, you know it, more traditional classes will be there. They are going to be open after 4th, that is from tomorrow itself. And these platforms will be there for the learning, teaching, and all these things. And then so many activities will be there. Not talk about that, but these activities or drills or practice will definitely cover bold, courageous, and it will help them develop from all angles. As Mahatma Gandhi focused on the development of hand, heart, and head, the intellectual, the emotional, the physical development is going to be there, needs to be there. And NEP and ESP will definitely do that. So all these old methods and new methods are necessary. The guide will be there and we need to use it smartly whenever it is necessary, right? So we are moving towards this, which is the let's train. As I said earlier, Mobile is going to be a wonderful thing, but if it can be used for able purposes also, so cautious use, judicious use is necessary, right? So when we talk about ESP, we cannot separate ESP from technology, from other needs of people, right? When we focus on that, we cannot separate English and technology from that. So when English technology is there, then we can, English and technology, we can focus on specific needs. When we design the syllabus in that way, when we allow mobile phones in the class and outside class, not just mobile phones, as per the convenience of people, of course, how technology can be fused there, then traditional classes will be there, lots of assignments will be there, Google Classroom, Edmodo and Testmos and so many other platforms will be there, e-learning and actual physical classrooms will be there. When all this blended learning, collaborative learning, all that will come together. And when we try to design syllabus so that the learner's needs are addressed, not just needs, but interests. And when there is a balance between the needs and interests, then definitely our educational system will be more useful to the people, that will be more influential, and that will be more successful also. Because our education many times does not address or solve our problems. But this NEP gives us that opportunity where ESP can be integrated. English will be fused through literature and language, and even through other courses like hotel management, like commerce, though the names will not be there, interdisciplinary nature. So English will be in different forms and facets as ESP or as EAP. And we hope that this NEP will be successful and our educational system will be very, very strong, where strong minds, strong character, strong personalities, strong Indians will be created, promoted, generated. And we hope our universities will be amongst the 20 universities. So thank you. I hope I have given justice to the topic, and also Ghanshyam sir's and Jyoti Patil madam's choice of me, selection of me as a resource person. I hope I have given justice. If you have any questions, I'm very, very eager to address that. Thank you very much for inviting me here as a resource person. There are many things that I have not addressed, but definitely our aim is towards creation of a very healthy society. That is what it has been aimed. We need to make India a Vishwa Guru, and definitely we will contribute in that direction. Thank you very much for your patient listening to me.
Thank you so much thank you so much, sir, for giving a very comprehensive account of ESP and its relevance in the new NEP 2020. You addressed issues like employability in modern India. Then you also talked about access, equity, quality, affordability, accountability. Then you talked about the importance of ESP at the undergraduate level and the interdisciplinary multitasking approaches, skill-based learning. And you also talked about ESP for communicative competence, legalese, the journalese, and you talked about specific needs which have to be addressed, and how ESP is blooming on the ELT tree. Then you focused on, very well, you focused on legal English and why is it called a language. Then you also gave very apt examples of some words, the doublets, the triplets, and also you talked about the language of advertisement, and you at least I'm convinced about ESP that it is certainly a language ESP is a very apt example of a beautiful language with a purpose, and you especially to the pleasure and contentment of so many of us, I'm sure, you have brought into discussion the use of mobile for this purpose, and you talked about blended collaborative learning. Now, this is after this comprehensive lecture. I, I have been noticing, and the 30 participants that had been listening to you, and they were really spellbound. I can read so many praises for you, but due to the constraint of time, I can't go through each and every one. And here, I'll just point out a few of them. From Dr. Ashok Sachadeva, very good presentation, he says. And Kirti says, relevant topic, interesting presentation. And Dr. Jyoti Patil has remarked, we are getting a lot of areas for further research, great observation. And then there is one question by Kirti. Which dictionary is good for translation of legal pieces? So if you can just sort out these problems for Kirti.
Okay, thank you very much, madam, and thanks for the shower of praise and love by the personalities like Dr. Ashok Sachdeva, Dr. Jyoti Patil, madam, and just now there is a message by Professor Ghanshyam sir, my mentor, my inspiration. So it's like getting a big award, winning an award for me. Thank you. There cannot be a specific dictionary for translation, but as far as the legal lexicon is concerned, there is a dictionary by Evan Webster. So I hope she tries to access to that. That will help. And of course, Google Translator will help also.
And okay, sir. So then,
congratulations, sir. Congratulations.
Okay, now Kirti, yes, I would like, Kirti had another problem, but first of all, let me do justice to others too. There is a response from Dr. Lieutenant Indrani. Good evening, sir. Won't it be controversial to teach keeping religious literature inside the classroom? I personally feel that students don't take literature as a piece of reading. Most of the time, they take very personally. If you can just solve this query, sir.
Yeah, actually, Honorable Lieutenant is absolutely right. And even when I said that we need to introduce religious literature, I said that it is my very, very personal view, because most of the problems are communal problems today. The divide that we see in the society is on communal and caste grounds. Somewhere that needs to be abolished. And this can take place, I personally feel, that may not be acceptable worldwide. That is my personal opinion, that when we know our own religion, and then try to understand the religion of others. So if the syllabus is designed in that way, for example, if we teach Paradise Lost in the class, obviously we are talking about the Bible. We cannot separate Paradise Lost from Bible. So for example, there is choice to learn Bhagavad Gita. So you are, or Mahabharata, say, film studies, there is a film, there is a movie on Mahabharata, or Mahabharata as an epic translation in English. If we confine ourselves to English, then when we study Mahabharata, we are talking about Hinduism, the way of life. So in this way, indirectly, we can learn the religions, and that needs to be imparted, in my opinion. Definitely there will be controversies if we try to criticize the religion of others. See, there is no problem as long as we try to practice our own religion and don't criticize others. When I am teaching, for example, being a Hindu, I am teaching some Islamic text. Then if I objectively teach it, I don't find there is any problem. I won't find.
Yes.
That is my personal view. But there may be controversies if we enter the controversial areas.
Yes. I cannot just, skip this remark of Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam, that Dr. Vaibhav is a wonderful person who speaks on various topics and has been doing and conducting many activities at his place, Dhule, and nearby areas for the benefit of the community. Community development is the basic identity of all of us. Dr. Vaibhav stands there for the same. I salute the person who leads with his deeds. And
thank you very much, sir.
So your lecture was really it was a combination of very precious gems, and all these glittering and precious gems I place in one basket, and presented and wish to present it to Dr. Shamenaz, who would really do justice to your lecture. She is but before that, let me allow me to introduce Dr. Shamenaz, the chairperson of today's e-seminar. And Dr. Shamenaz, the very talented Dr. Shamenaz, is the author, co-author, and editor of 16 books. She is currently teaching in Rajarshi Tandon Mahila Mahavidyalaya. She's taught English literature and language in SS Khanna's Girls Degree College and Irving Christian College, University of Allahabad. She is former associate professor of English in an engineering college, AIET Allahabad. She's presented many national and international seminars, conferences, papers in many national and international seminars and conferences in India and abroad. She's got published many research papers in Indian and foreign journals. Now she writes book reviews for channels, big book reviews for many journals, magazines, and e-magazines. She's associated with many national and international academic organizations. Her poems have been published in many poetry anthologies and magazines worldwide. She's associated with journals and publishing houses such as Author Press, Wildfire Publications, Khazar Journal of Humanities, and the list is a very long one. And she has, you can read her blogs on www.Shamenaz WordPress, on Shamenaz Blogspot, and she has a passion for reading and writing. She was chairperson of Women's Cell and head of Cultural Committee of AIET Allahabad. She's member of Progressive Writers Association. She's member of English Association for English Studies in India, and also for International Multicultural Network, Azerbaijan. So with I know that words will definitely fall short, to describe an eminent personality. And along with all these, credentials, I must add that Dr. Shamenaz is really a very good and understanding human being. And with this introduction, I request Dr. Shamenaz, as the chairperson, to please give her critical comments on the lecture by Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis. Dr. Shamenaz, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shahnaaz ma'am. And I thank Dr. Ghanshyam and Dr. Jyoti Patil ma'am for giving me such a opportunity to be the chairperson. Although I'm not so senior, just let me correct Shahnaaz ma'am. I have edited, co-edited and authored 19 books, not 6. succeed. But first of all, I request everybody to please mute yourself, because there has been a lot of disturbance in this session. I hope still there are sound of pots and pans banging. I hope you all will mute yourself. Thank you, team iSPELL, for taking up such a wonderful and relevant topic. As an educator, we should. There has been lots of queries, question related with the National Educational Policy of 2020, and we, as an teacher of English, were confused, were in fear that what about what is the future of English? Because there has been lots of myth and rumor or whatever related with this policy. So, and thank you, Dr. Vaibhav, for such a wonderful lecture. If we see the educational system in India, we see that it is very old, dated back to the establishment of Nanda and Takshashila University. But time to time, it has seen an unprecedented change with the changing political scenario. In the British era, it was completely transformed as per their choices. After independence, more or less, our educational system was modeled on British system of education. But time to time, our government has also transformed it and had lots of changes. Our first educational policy was implemented in 1968 under Indira Gandhi government, and the second educational policy was implemented in 1986 under Rajiv Gandhi's government, which was modified by Prime Minister Narasimha Rao government in 1990. A remarkable step was taken under PM Manmohan government in 2009, as right to education was considered as basic right of every individual as guaranteed by the Constitution. Though there has been many changes from time to time in our educational policies by different and many educational centers and research, as many educational centers and research institute were establishing in pre and post British period, but still we are lagging behind in research and academic standard, not only in Europe, but also in Asia as well. There are many countries in Asia which are ahead of us. So now to cater this need, PM Modi government has approved new educational policy on July 29, 2020 with a new vision. It has changed the name of HRD Ministry to Ministry of Education. And there are some positive changes, like positive things related with educational policy, like it emphasizes on practical and vocational training, which we lack, since our education just stress on rectification theory. We just uh, 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 read and learn for examination. And this educational policy gives scope for a multidisciplinary approach. It helps inculcate critical thinking among students from pre-age group. It gives flexibility to choose subject in graduation level. And the good step is that top 100 foreign colleges will be invited to open their branches in India, further enhancing the educational system of India. Beside many other positive accomplishments, it too has some drawbacks also. As this kind of educational system will need a long time to be completely implemented, as we have done, because since if our educational system will be multidisciplinary, it will based on vocational training. So we have to need teacher who are who have versatile quality, who are expert in all these skills. This this is something which we lack in India, like and especially when there are there for teachers, especially in the North India, in government school all over India. So for teaching extracurricular activities, we need lots of recruitment of teachers, and they should be well equipped with all these skills. The second point is this NEP emphasizes more on regional or indigenous languages. Uh, this is good, but it should not lead to the negligence of English, as it is a global language. of communication leading to the success of Indian in scientific and technological field abroad. We have the examples of Sundar Pichai, who is the CEO of Google, and Indian doctors are doing so well in America. Indian scientists are doing so well in America. I think NASA has lots of Indian scientists. Now coming to Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis' lecture, uh, Sir believes that there is a scope for ESP in national educational policy, though people have lots of fear in their mind regarding it. Giving example of Western education, he highlighted the scenario of Indian educational system at higher education and the problem related with it, especially unemployment. Unemployment is something which is a major issue in India. So, sir outlined the vision of Indian new educational policy, the difference and the gap between India and Bharat, means urban India and rural India. We see two Indias. Sir is right in this aspect. He highlighted the vision of APJ Abdul Kalam, uh, who had who has written a book also on this, India 2020. So this educational system will be fruitful, I think, till 2040. And discussing about the pillar of NEP, he focused on access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. He compared our old with the new educational policy, the new curriculum of government, which is multidisciplinary, and the aim to develop all aspect and capability, aim to make educational well-rounded, vocational. So he stressed about multidisciplinary approach of education, which will make English more important. He said that NEP is regional, multilingual, and multinational. It is a global approach, means synthesizing global and local. English will be very significant when foreign university will venture in Indian educational system. I hope this will not lead to the neglect of Indian teacher. Like in many Middle East countries, they are recruiting more American teacher or European teacher, and they are neglecting Asian and their own teacher. This will increase translation studies, leading to the popularity of Indian indigenous literature as well as job prospect. This is also a good topic because now, if we see, Rumi is a Persian poet, but he is famous throughout the world. He is the most widely read poet in the world because of translation. And now, like Sir said, Premchand, about Premchand, I myself have taught Premchand. Many Hindi and Urdu writers like Premchand, even Punjabi writer like Amrita Pritam, Faiz Ahmad Faiz, in partition literature and in Indian literature, Indian literature, Indian fiction in English. So this is a good approach. Means if the educational policy will encourage translation studies, and to compete with foreign scholars, we have to enhance ourselves with critical thinking. NEP lays stress on technology or digital education. There will be special zone for education. It encourages versatile attitude. Then means there is a challenge for teacher, for all of us to become a versatile genius. Then there will be more opportunity in the field of English, as the student teacher will perform multi-dimensional tasks, and it will give rise to many type of English, like English in different aspects. Talking on NEP, National Educational Policy, he discussed aspect of ESP, like characteristic of ESP, focusing on the language of law and the feature of legal language and other field of English, like English in social media, English today, English for advertisement, course content, and especially English literature post NEP. Giving example of intertextuality, he stressed on reading literature of other countries. That is also a very good approach. So he stressed on, and he also stressed on moral and value education. This is something which is a need for current generation also. Like I have been a teacher of uh, engineering college also. There, a subject human values has been inculcated to teach student, because when teacher study so much of science and technology, they are moving away from human values. And so this is a subject which has been included in the syllabus. To summarize, we can say that Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis emphasized on the positive aspect of national education policy, further defining ESP in broader way and elaborating its use and scope in current field of India, relating it with Indian culture and especially focus synthesizing rural and urban. So thank you so much, Vaibhav Sabnis, sir, for such a wonderful lecture. Once again, I thank team iSPELL, especially Jyoti Patil ma'am and Ghanshyam sir, for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. I am a junior member, so it is a privilege and honor for me for being chosen as a chairperson. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shamenaz, for a very enlightening and meaningful discussion post this lecture by Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis. And in your discussion, you stressed upon the need for versatility by the teaching faculty, and then and that you expressed, you are very optimistic that this new education policy will certainly be fruitful up to 2040. And you have really suggested good topics, and especially Rumi Premchand. I think everyone loves to read Rumi and Premchand, and then it is certainly a congregation of faculty with common interest and patient listeners from the amongst the academicians and scholars, and this common interest has led to very effective deliberations on the relevance of ESP in the new education policy. Now there are still praises coming up for Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis, and there is an announcement which I would like to announce myself also here vocally, from Dr. Jyoti Patil, that coming Sunday on 10th January, we have Dr. T.K. Titus, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, Dr. T.K. Titus, to speak on the on the Nobel Laureate 2020, Louis Gluck. And this is an invitation to all of us to join, to know the current trend lines in literary arena. And there is a showering of praise for the by Mr. Nurul Huda. He says, very interesting comment by Chairperson. Dr. Vaibhav has also focused on privatization of every sector, including education system, which is very frightening. Teachers may have opportunities, but will create a capitalist society which will result into nothing but situation like 1968 war between students and authority in coming days. I hope Dr. Vaibhav will answer this query of Mr. Nurul Huda at the personal level. By due to the constraint of time, I think it is better. To conclude this event, And I take this opportunity to thank all the viewers on YouTube also, because this program is streaming live on YouTube also. And I now hand over the proceedings to Dr. Sharma, the esteemed moderator, for a vote of thanks and for presenting the certificates. Dr. Sharma, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahnaaz. I would like to start my concluding note with a small altered saying of Roosevelt, where he says, small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, and great minds discuss ideas. The journey from discussion about people to ideas is the journey of academic growth. It's a journey of maturity. It's a journey of something significant in our life. I believe such sessions, such webinars of iSPELL are helping us to take a long journey, an academic journey, from being small to becoming great. Today's session was really wonderful in a sense that we got the nitty-gritties of education policies, not only policy, but the need of English for a specific purpose. When India became independent, there were around 60 plus or 90 plus colleges, that means below 100. And as per the UGC, till 14th of December 2020, just around 21 days back, we had 965 universities and 39,000 colleges. This is the progress of education quantitatively. The progress qualitatively lies in our hands. And such seminars are not only eye-opening, motivating, and inspiring. I believe all those who participated in today's event, today's webinar, have really got benefited. We have been on this platform past 2 hours, around 2 hours. We are going to finish around 7, so we started with around 5. So for past 2 hours, we are deliberating on some ideas. On my behalf and on the behalf of the iSPELL family, I thank Dr. Sabnis for such a wonderful presentation. I really liked, and everybody liked it. I liked the way the ideas were presented through PowerPoint presentation. The PowerPoint presentation was really very catchy. I must thank the President, Dr. Jyoti Patil Madam, for organizing all this and for such a wonderful e-seminar, as she calls it. I must thank her personally for choosing me to be the moderator of the first webinar or seminar of this year by the iSPELL. I must extend my thanks with honor to Dr. G. A. Ghanshyam for being present with us and for motivating us through different ideas and by through his command over language and words. The way he plays with vocabulary makes us tension-free sometimes. And often, I should say, not sometimes, often. Your remarkable contribution in organizing this Mahakumbh requires a standing ovation from all of us. Really salute to you, Ghanshyam sir, for not only materializing iSPELL, but for organizing such beautiful sessions on Sundays and calling them Sunday Sahitya Satsang. I must thank all the participants present on this platform, that is Zoom, and on YouTube and on Facebook for their patient listening and active participation. I've been receiving messages from the people who have joined on the YouTube platform, and they are really showering phrases. Many of them have contacted and said that we are really enjoying. They could not get the link because they are not a part of iSPELL, but I have urged them personally to be a part of iSPELL family, and let us make this family grand, huge, and robust enough to discuss ideas, not to discuss the people. Thank you very much, Dr. Sabnis. Thank you very much, Dr. Patil, and all the members in this team for your excellent organization. Thank you very much. And with this, I hand over the microphone and the platform to Dr. Jyoti Patil, Madam, for distributing the certificates online. Over to you, Dr. Patil, please. Dr. Patil.
Sorry. Yeah. Yes, sir. Ghanshyam sir will do the job.
Okay. Okay.
There is some technical problem at my side. Okay. Yeah, on my side. Ghanshyam, he will help me out. He is always there to help me out. So it's better that he'll do it, because I have one certificate, but the others are not getting opened. Okay.
So we will be, Dr. Ghanshyam sir will be distributing the certificates. Please pardon us. I'm a part of the team, so I beg your pardon. All mistakes are mine, and all goodies belong to
No. It's a last moment change. Actually, I'm getting it because it's with the live YouTube screening, so I'm unable to leave this screen.
No problem, ma'am. No problem, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chandrashekhar. And change is always a grand welcome. May it be English for specific purposes, may it be English for specific perceptions, may it be English for specific people, may it be English for specific publishing houses. Because everywhere you require English in a specific way. Even when you go to specific places, the English differs. When you go to publishing places, the English differs, because the publisher, they want their own way of English. And when you call of English for specific perceptions, because your perception differs. So that's why English ESP is English for specific, and P remains open for all of us. English for specific presidents, because they want different kinds of English. So that's all about English. So it was a wonderful deliberation by Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis, and I always praise Dr. Vaibhav because he is a Vaibhavshali Vaibhav for me all the time. And I always believe that this kind of an interaction with the people like Vaibhav will definitely open new avenues as far as knowing the things are concerned. So hope my certificate, the screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Yeah, this certificate goes to Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis, and the pride of life is there. But in the certificate which I'll send you, the pride of life will not be there, means Dr. Shamenaz will not be there. But because I have taken the screen, print screen, so that's why Dr. Shamenaz is there in all the certificates. So Shamenaz, you are playing a wonderful role today, being there on all the certificates, which is being given to all the people online. So Dr. Vaibhav Sabnis, this certificate goes to you. So thank you very much for being there as the resource person, and you are highly resourceful. And once again, hope to meet you soon on the platform. This certificate goes to the chairperson who has chaired the excellent session. Thank you. Dr. Shamenaz Banu.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful.
The pride of iSPELL. Indeed, 19 books. We want it to turn it around. We want 91 books from you.
Thank you so much, sir. It is the inspiration and blessing of all the people who have been inspiring me since 12 years. Sir, I'm thankful to all those professors whom I know through Association for English Studies in India, like you, like Shailen sir, like Krishna sir, who has been always encouraging me also. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. And this certificate goes to the Master of Ceremonies, Dr. Shahnaaz Khan. And today's Sham was highly enlightened and made lively by Dr. Shahnaaz Khan. So this certificate goes to Dr. Shahnaaz Khan.
Thank you so much
on behalf of
yes, thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much for giving me this grand opportunity, of interacting with such esteemed academicians. So,
the opportunities are always, ma'am, given by HE, he, which becomes capital. We are mere the puppets. Nothing is in our hand. He is the one who is providing entire thing to us. So it came from him, and we were just the medium, nothing else.
Okay,
this certificate goes to Dr. Chandrashekhar Sharma for moderating the event in a nice way. So hope Dr. Chandrashekhar will also accept this being the moderator of this wonderful session of iSPELL. So thank you very much, each and everyone. Keep yourself safe and do attend our Sunday Sahityik Sangoshti, SSS. And we do hope that we are going to have many more this kind of deliberations in the future too. So thank you very much, Dr. Vaibhav, Dr. Shahnaaz, Dr. Shamenaz, Dr. Chandrashekhar, and all the participants, those who are there on YouTube and Zoom. Definitely, these deliberations will Zoom our life. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot,
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
For the honor and
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks to everybody once again. And
Vaibhav sir, we would like to see your PPT also. Please post it in the group.
sure, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Honor. I am feeling overwhelmed. See you soon. Very happy New Year.
Happy New Year to all.
Happy New Year to all. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So, bye-bye for now.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Yeah.